Hello people and welcome back to a news review. This news is very special as it contains the skills for the new SAO collab characters Sword Art Online. As per usual, it's an anime that I have not watched. If you're new here and want to check out how to play the game in general, I also have a new player guide linked in the description below and also in the upper right hand corner right now. So check that out later after this video if you want to. Since this update is also insanely dense, I've also linked the update patch notes below if you want to follow along, because I won't be going through everything that the patch notes have, because that would just make this video like over half an hour if it's not already. I don't know that, you do. So let's get right into it. As the title suggests, I think there are way too many characters in here. The Diamond Seal itself has 14 characters, so let's just go through it. First off, you have the team skill for the SAO collab characters, which is battle menu, which is your Dragonware ability. SAO members enter a hyper state for 1 round. ALO members skill CD is -1. For 1 round, extend Roost movement time by 10 seconds. And this ability depletes 100% of your Draconic, but not the amount of uses. So you'll still have 2 uses, for example. If you just used it initially, it won't deplete the actual use. First off, we have Kirito, the first 1% jackpot. I'm not actually sure how they're going to allocate percentages, but there are 2 main jackpots, 3 sub jackpots, and a bunch of garbage, resulting in 14 characters. For his leader skill, he mainly runs SAO and ALO. This is actually, I don't think this is good in my opinion. This makes him very reliant on the SAO characters, and of course, you know, that gives him like great damage and whatnot. But the multipliers on these are quite a lot. 1.8 in my memory is quite a lot to be giving to like SAO and ALO exclusively, and also there's like attack times 5.5, which is a lot, and the team attack times 2 additionally in the bottom. This makes him very reliant on the series itself, but the team seems very restrictive to only collab characters, and so like he's probably gonna be good on release, like there's no doubt about that, but I don't know about his longevity as a leader. Kirito's team skill is an actual essay, so I've made it into bullet points for you to better understand what the hell is going on. It activates when he is a leader and the ally has to be an SAO or ALL member. He gets 3 seconds of boost movement time. Kirito, Klein, and Asuna have a stat boosting team skill of HP time recovery basic value times 1.3. For each step made, recover 3% HP until team HP is full. You ignore sticky, you ignore laser trap, you have human trail, everything is everything. And when 8 or more combos are made, all members attack times 3.1, and ignore fixed combo shield and initial shield. And at the end of each round, explode electrified, weathered, and frozen runestones to generate enchanted water and dark human runestones. That is a lot. In the bullet points, it's basically all the stuff that he can solve. This last point of exploding the negative runestones is kind of wonky, because, you know, the other better way of doing it is just like resolve it when moving over it. These just being there means that you can't move into them. Obviously explode them at the end of the round, which means you can still launch attacks, but I think that, you know, that just restricts your runestone movement space, even if you're, you know, exploding them at the end. Kirito also gets his own battle menu, which is a bit stronger than the generic one. Basically, the main difference is that it synergizes with himself and his friends. I don't know if they're his friends. I haven't watched the anime. A release lock skill of himself. SAO members enter a hyper state for 1 round, and Kirito, Asuna, and Klein skill CD is -1, and for 1 round extend movement time by 10 seconds. This does not appear to consume your uses, only the 100% of the charge. And then there is a third team skill where it alters his active. That's right, this slide covers his active. This is insane. This is why I've made this, because this is all in text, and you'll be reading an essay if you have the patch notes up. If Kirito has his own Dragonware equipped, then Kirito enters dual wielding mode, which is a minor boost that I'll talk about a little later, and changes the first active skill to Starburst Fame. That's why he also has 2 actives. This is insane. So the unaltered active, it sucks. All right, you basically always have the Dragonware equipped. There's no reason why you wouldn't, because his active is nuts. First off, remove Tornado, turn the board into a fixed quintet board. For 1 round, willpower, ignore counterattack. After dissolving runestones, you drop firstly water and dark enchanted runestones. Then the second patch, you drop a fixed board of Quintet Enchanted again, which gives you like at least 10 combos just from the Sky Drop, which does mean that he is hampered by stuff that prevents Sky Drop, like the whatever positions that they call nowadays. I forgot the name. And then his own damage ignores Puzzle Shield, anti-Runestone Shield, defense, and he launches 14 extra attacks, as much as 30% of his attack. The first 5 attacks are 1 attack of each attribute, and the other 9 are random. So he solves Quintet attack shields as well. And lastly, 1 extra dark attack, as much as 5 times its attack. When he's in dual wielding mode, he launches 1 extra water attack as well. There's another team skill that involves only having him in the team, but that's not really relevant because you won't really have only him in the team. I'll just skip over that because this is an essay already. Moving on to his second active skill, fully her HP, restore the board. And if there are more than 3 members and only SAO members in the team, tap a members column except the ally to swap that member's position with the leader. That's right, this is probably one of the most unique mechanics ever to be introduced. You can swap a member with the leader. So if Asuna is in your team, you can make Asuna leader, and all the leader skills, all the team skills will change. Basically, you can swap leaders midway through a stage. How is that going to be useful? I don't really know. And the last significant point here is that his bonding skill with Asuna is when his character runestone is triggered, damage you from burning will be lowered to 0, so that fulfills that last point over here. So he does ignore sticky and burning and has all the stuff that leaders should. It's so insane, I guess, how much they gave him and how complicated it seems to be. This news is not in a user-friendly format. Moving on to Asuna. Asuna as a leader also basically runs SAO and ALL kind of team. Team attack times 9, HP recovery times 1.8. SAO and ALL members get additional attack boost and HP and recovery boost. At the end of each round, explode the column below the character to generate human fire and human heart of fixed numbers and fixed positions. This would be 2 heart on the top and 3 fire on the bottom. This also makes it slightly finicky because it just might destroy some runestones that you just left there in the first column, or you were forced to leave there in the first column, and then, you know, it's board destroying. Alright, board destroying team skills are often not that good, though, so this makes her probably a little bit more finicky. By dissolving race runestones, SAO and ALO members team attack times 2 for 5 additionally, and the character's skill CD -6 after entering a stage. For her team skill, it's also an essay. And SAO. I'm so sorry for that joke. Extend runes movement time regardless by 3 seconds. Ignore burning. Non-fire SAO members will be altered into fire attribute. Everything has the effect of fire and heart. Effective fire runestones increases by 300%. Ignore laser trap by dissolving fire heart runestones. All members attack times 5 and ignore equal combo shield, duet, trio, quartet, and quintet elemental shield. And by dissolving all present fire runestones in the first batch, Asuna's skill CD -1. By starting runestone movement with the character runestone of Asuna equipped with her Dragonware 5 runestones can be developed singly or in groups of 2 or more in the first batch. Upon the skill activation of Asuna, the damage received in the round will not lead to your defeat, a willpower effect, and Asuna ignores defense. This is once again when Asuna is a leader and the ally is an SAO or ALO member. She has the normal battle menu ability, no exclusive one for her. Moving on to her active is slightly less insane, thank you, but it's still kind of insane. Tap 2 runestones, turn those runestones and the adjacent runestones into enchanted human fire runestones. So basically, she can solve like dual cross shields, but more and more cards can do that, so that's not really unique. If leaders and SAO members skill CDs of all enemies will be delayed for 1 round, or 2 rounds, extend runestone movement time by 10 seconds, compound plus 10. The character launches 5 extra attacks as much as 1.5 times its attack. This is basically another big attack boost, and the character's damage ignores initial shield, combo shield, and moves in the column nullifying. Her bond skills are nothing special, so we move on to the sub jackpots, which are also insane in terms of their own leader skills. In comparison of the power level, Kirito and Asuna are definitely, like, I think as a leader above these sub jackpots. I mean, as they should be. Their price points reflect that. So these sub jackpots probably aren't going to be used as a leader, except maybe to solve some kind of achievements, but they are you know, all elves, and elves did already get a large power boost in the form of elvish perennials recently. For Yuuki, the first sub-jackpot, she's a dark elf. She runs an elf team, basically a lot of stats for elves. One special point is that by dissolving enchanted runestones, damage received -40%. In her team skill, we will see where she generates those enchanted runestones from. For her team skill, she gets an exclusive combination active, not a combination active. The other card's active becomes another active, but it's Asuna, but not this Asuna. I think it's the VR form Asuna, or another Asuna. We don't know. This card isn't out yet. So I'm just going to skip over that, and I will cover that when the other Asuna actually comes out, because this will just be insanely confusing otherwise, if it's not already. For a team skill, extend runestone time regardlessly by 4 seconds. Damage received when burning will be lowered to 1. Ignore black holes. Everything has 50% effect of runestones of ALO members' attributes. After dissolving runestones in the columns below the leader and ally, the first batch of runestones to be dropped will be enchanted runestones of the corresponding member's attribute, and the second batch of runestones to be dropped will be enchanted heart runestones, so that's where you get your enchanted runestones from. By dissolving water or dark runestone, team tag times 5, ignore puzzle shield. Yuuki and the other Asuna ignores initial shield and defense. When 11 or more combos are made, Yuuki skill CD -1 and dodge the first attack of an enemy in that round. When exactly 11 combos are made, Yuuki attacks times 2.5 and skill CD -1 again. This relates to the combination act that I talked about before. Basically, the only thing you know right now is that it fixes your combos at 11, which probably, you know, isn't a good thing with like the high combo shields nowadays. And I mean, Yuuki does have like some native combo support in terms of her team skill of sky dropping below the leader and ally, but you can't always guarantee that because of, you know, for example, the easiest kind of shield that just blocks that is tornadoes, which comes up a lot nowadays. Just, you know, put a tornado below the leader and ally and suddenly you're done for. Moving on to her active, which is similarly insane as most cards are in here. Yuuki and Asuna enter in stay in a hyper state for 2 rounds. Explode, electrified, and weather runestones generate dark protected runestones. Turn all runestones into enchanted elf runestones. All round combo and EX combo count will be 11. The character launches 11 extra attacks, as much as 1.5 times his attack, and the character ignores fixed combo shield and combo shield and runestone combo nullifying. So kind of similar to Asuna. Moving on to the next subject, Leafa and Earth Elf. As a leader, she runs once again kind of similar ALO and Earth members, you know, instead of elf members, but I don't think it's especially good. Her team skill is kind of finicky. She gets 4 seconds runestone extension time. Everything has 50% effect of Earth, Dark, and Heart. Ignore sticky, ignore step damage, and when your HP is full, you get a willpower effect, classic elf effect. Turn the first 10 runestones touch while moving into enchanted runestones. Kind of weird that, you know, that's just not a thing in general. This first 10 runestones makes it significantly worse than just an enchanted trail in general. After dissolving runestones, the dropping runestones can be dissolved by landing 2 or more of them, and the effect takes in play until 8 runestones of one type are dissolved in the second batch and onward. So it's 3 dissolve in the first batch, but 2 dissolve in the second batch and beyond, until of course you dissolve a certain number of that type of runestone. Based on the attributes and numbers of members of the team, Leafa and Kirito each launch a corresponding number of extra attacks of the corresponding attributes, as much as 50% of its own attack. If that sounds confusing, that's basically what Napoleon does, but it's 50% instead of 100%. Moving along to her active. Her active finally is something that is not that insane. The enemies attack themselves for each other once for 1 round. 1 round upon skill activation, and at the end of each round recover half your HP. Attack bonus plus 100% for each combo made. Damage received from scorching areas minus 100%. This is what makes her so good. This is unconditional. 100% scorching area damage reduction. This makes her a very valuable member, and if the leader is an ALO member, effects 2 to 4. That is not the controlling skill. Stay in play for 2 rounds instead of 1. Alrighty, moving on to the last subject on Sinon. As a leader, it's basically a direct damage kind of leader, because as you can see, it's worded in the way that says damage dealt to all enemies. So basically you can blow enemies up with your active, and that is kind of what this guy does. Direct damage dealt to all enemies times 2.5 additionally, as this just feeds into his active very well as well. Moving on to the team skill. This card gets extension of runestone movement time by 4 seconds once again. All runestones have 50% effect of light, dark, and heart runestones. Damage received from burning will be lowered to 1. Ignore laser trap. When your HP is full, you get a willpower effect. Turn the first 6 runestones touch while moving into enchanted light elf runestones, which can be finicky because, you know, unwanted conversions and stuff like that. By doing 1 or more group of 6 or more runestones for each ALO member present in the team, Sinon launches 1 extra attack to the max 6 extra attacks. Combo count plus 1 to the max plus 6, and by dissolving character runestone or elf runestone, team attack times 7. And Sinon and Kirito ignores fixed combo shield, trio, and quinta elemental shield. I don't think this is going to be a great leader. It's more of like a speedrun leader, if anything, because of the multipliers not being that high and this active right here. Deal a 20 million light damage to all enemies regardless of defense and enchanted runestone shield. If the leader is an ALO member, increase light damage to 200 million, so tenfold. Tap 1 row to explode and generate enchanted light elf runestones. Death damage will be nullified. For 1 round, recovery will lower to 0. Finally, the second ever elf card to lower your recovery to 0 and 3 times the recovery basic value of Sinon and Kirito into their own attack basic value, and Sinon and Kirito ignore puzzle shield. That is finally it for the jackpots, the 5 jackpots. We're now moving on to the small prizes. I'm just gonna do these real quick because most of these are kind of useless. First up, we have Yui, a light machina. I don't know why they made her a machina, because maybe it's because I haven't seen the anime. This allegedly, I think, the daughter of Kirito and Asuna, from what I've gleaned from other videos. Basically a attack stat booster for Kirito and Asuna, both their forms, and also Machinas. If you run her in a Machina team, Kirito and Asuna do get an additional attack boost, and upon deactivation of the skill, explode the board to generate runestones of the corresponding member's attribute in each column below SAO members and Machina members. I do appreciate this card not being an exclusive collapse attack booster, because that would just make this card useless outside of that. The next small jackpot is Sachi, a water human, CD6. Basically, the only functionality here is that it is a super damage reduction. If the leader is an SEO member, damage received will lower to 1, 2, 2, 4, applicable to any boss skills that actually hit you directly. But she does, put herself into a dying state for 6 rounds, and after 6 rounds, she dies. I think this is accurate in lore or something, but this makes the card kind of useless because it is super damage reduction for 1 round, and then the card also dies afterwards, making it not that good. If you do run her in a full SAO team though, it is 6 rounds of super damage reduction, which is not that bad, but then she still dies afterwards, and that's that. For the card, it's basically, you lose a member. You lose 1/6 of your damage and also the ability to activate this active ever again. Moving on, a light human silica, something to do with dragons here as well. For 1 round, CD6 for 1 round upon skill activation, and the end of each round fully recover your HP. Change the state of SEO members and dragons from fatigue into hyper, so anti-fatigue tech. SEO members and dragons enter or stay in hyper state for 1 round, and the leader is a SEO member or dragon, enter or stay in hyper state for 2 rounds instead. This card will basically be only run in SEO members because there's no dragon human synergy, at least in the game right now. Next up is Lisbeth, a fire human, CD5, a stat clearer. Basically turns the 3 columns on the left into runestones of the leader's attribute, and the 3 columns on the right into runestones of the ally's attribute, a full board converter. In addition to the stat clearing functionality, and leaders and SEO member turns those runestones into enchanted and race runestones as well. Pretty good. Klein, a fire human that is utterly useless because it clashes with existing skills. CD6, the character enters or stays in the hyper state for 2 rounds. I just went over hyper state tech. For 2 rounds, extend rune time by 10 seconds. Time tunnel, which admittedly is unique. Turn the first 4 rune touch while moving into enchanted human fire runestones. This will disrupt you probably more than it'll help you. Combo count +4. Why is this here? Combo count +4 is basically nothing. And by starting movement with the character movement of Klein, damage received from scorching areas minus 80%. I just went over why not Leafy, that's something else. That card, the Earth Elf subjackpot, reduces your scorching areas by 100% with no conditions. So this card is just completely outclassed, except say for some fairly unique functionality within this seal. The functionalities are very, very common, especially because this card is human. Next up, we have Earth Human Agile, CD6, basically useless, a glorified attack booster. If you want to read it, pause the video right here. I'm just going to skip. Sinon, Water Elf, CD6. The only thing here relevant is that if leader is an ALO member, explode all runestones and frozen runestones, generate enchanted elf water and heart of fixed numbers and fixed positions, so a fixed board when leader is an ALO member. Otherwise, it sucks. Moving on. Sakuya, an Earth Elf again. CD5, completely outclassed. Again, tap 2 columns to explode them and generate runestones of the corresponding member attributes. They're so many cards that already explode the whole board and convert the whole board or anything like that. If leader is an ALO member, remove Tornado. Remember what Kirito does, he already does that. Or on ALO members, each launches 1 extra attack and damage will be dealt regardless of puzzle shield. That's done by like at least 3 cards at this point. And lastly, Light Elf, the Alicia. CD5, select and swipe to remove 2 rows and generate Enchanted Elf Light Moonstones. Leaders and ALO member remove Laser Trap. Everyone already ignores Laser Trap, no need to remove that. For around ALO members, each launch 1 extra fire attack and ignore Quintessential Shield. Once again, that last point has already been done by 3 characters at this point probably. Oh my god. That is finally done with the Diamond Seal. Except not really, because there's 1 bonus collection card. Briefly, however, here is a bunny. It is the level up, skill level material for this seal. Alright, hand off the bunny. Finally, we move on to the last collection card for collecting specific SAO Diamond Seal characters. There are 8 of them in total, although probably you'll end up pulling them because, you know, the seal contains 2 1% jackpots. Anyway, the way that works, by the way, is that you can choose the jackpot, the guaranteed jackpot you pull after 35 pulls. If you get, you know, one of them in the middle, you can switch over. You can get all the cards, although I think, you know, just by the sheer number of cards and the rates that are there, you know, normal average person will be pulling over 35 if you want to get all the cards. This card, as a leader, it's basically a joke. If you want to read it, you know, go into the patch notes yourself and do that, but this card is not a leader, it is a meme leader. The active is actually quite unique though. It has 2 actives. First active, charge the craft, explode all runestones, generate enchanted runestones of the corresponding member's attribute and race in each column. With leaders and SAO members, remove all runestones instead. This removal functionality is really good nowadays. And for the second active, ED6, restore the board, modify fire, light, and dark to become protected runestones. For one recovery will lower to 0. Very nice. And everything has 200% effect of fire, light, and dark. Finally, that is done with for all the Diamond Seal related characters. Moving on to a couple things here. There's an item collecting mission where you'll redeem these special items in the shop, such as the characters' dragonwares, medals, wallpapers, lab stuff, cosmetic or otherwise. And you'll get a boost when specific CrossFit characters are used to clear the event stages. The dragonwares I talked about are here. I don't think. Are these all the dragonwares they show? 7? I don't know. All of them, just equip them, okay? I don't think there's any sort of special functionality here. They just give a lot of attack boosts. I'm not going to go over every single one of these because that would make the video way too long if it's not already. Moving right along to the last 2 free-to-play cards. First off, there is a challenge mission card, Rosalia, active skill CD6, deal damage of 60 to enemy 7 times regardless of defense in the order of water, fire, earth, light, dark, non-attributive. This may or may not have something to do with lore. I have no goddamn idea, but this card seems to be useless because I don't think direct damages work on quintet attack shields. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. For 2 rounds, the character attack becomes 0. The team will not be poisoned and dodge the first attack of each dark enemy. I think this is kind of trash. And finally, a new ultimate stage card, the Blue-Eyed Demon, Water Beast. I don't know why it's a Water Beast when it's clearly called the Blue-Eyed Demon. CD6, explode the board to generate beast runestones of the corresponding members' attributes in the columns below beasts to generate water columns of the columns below. What am I saying? Explode all runestones to generate beast runestones in the corresponding members' attributes in the columns below beasts. Generate water runestones in the columns below other members. Freeze all enemies, run around to inactivate them and alter the attributes in the dark. The character enters or stays in the hyper state for 1 round, and for 2 rounds, beast and water damages can overpower earth and dark enemies. Oh my god, that is finally it for this week's news review. For the main news, I'll switch back over to the screen that you're probably most familiar with. This is the tier list. I mean, if you still remember any of these guys' skills, I'll just do, I guess, a brief explanation. Kirito's was 175 because of just the sheer amount of stuff they gave him. All the stuff they gave him is, you know, pretty standard. Just a lot of different types. He ignores Burning Sticky, has good functionality as a leader, although once again, quite limiting. Although on launch, and even as a member, I think he'll be quite good. Asuna, they also gave her a lot of stuff, although less good as a leader. Probably situationally good though, but Kirito can swap in Asuna as a leader, so that's pretty good functionality as well. The 3 sub-jackpots, I ranked them like 50 because, well, okay, Yuuki is a little lower than 50 because of Elvish Perennials. Leafa is up right at 50 because of her active, unique active of just ignoring Scorching unconditionally. Sinon is good because of the recovery equals 0 effect. That is the second L do so. And the small price are scattered all down here. The ones in the trash I basically just skipped over, and the family card is right here between 5 and 50 because I think the active is actually quite unique, although, you know, not unique enough to make it into 50, obviously. This is the most amount of characters you're probably going to see on a tier list. Hopefully if TOS doesn't lose its mind and put more than 14 characters in a single seal. Holy. For the free card rankings, they don't look good. They're here. This card is trash, assuming it can't solve Quintet attacks. If it can, then, you know, it probably gets bumped up to you, and the Blue-Eyed Demon just sucks. All the effects are things that we've seen before, but, you know, I didn't really expect anything from an Ultimate Stage card. Alright, that is it for the actual news. For the other stuff here, you might have noticed I'm opening up the Chinese version. Yeah, that's right, because they don't have the English version of the celebration events. The one thing here that I do want to cover is that there will be rate up from August 17th to August 19th. The seal will be getting a rate up, so pull on that when that comes. I highly do not recommend you pull not when rate up, especially because this seal in particular is highly damning, I should say. You're not getting anything you want probably if you don't pull on rate up. Alright, that'll be it for this week's news review. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And if you like it in general, please subscribe to give me motivation to make more of these in the future, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!